This is where we stopped last time, and right now we're gonna see how to create a form for displaying a new post. But first, let's go ahead and create a simple navigation for our application so that the user can be able to click a button to create a post and subsequent actions. Okay, so for us to create a navigation that will be available on all our pages, it means we have to actually create this in our layouts file. So let's go to our resources, views, and in our layouts directory, we'll open the app.blade.php. So let's scroll down, and this is the top bar navigation right here. But what I would like to do is actually to have a navigation at the side right here. Okay, so what I'll do, meaning I can't actually display the contents here, I'll have to create a container. I'll have to create a container, and in that container, I'll have a row, and in that row, I'm gonna have a div.columnlarge.for columns, and this is where my navigation is going to live. But let me create the column also where the content is going to live. Okay, so column large 8 columns is where I'm going to yield my content. So I'd yield content right here. So if I just save this and I refresh this page, you discover that there's been a change. So you see I have create new post here, and there's a whole lot of space on this side. So I'm going to generate my navigation right here, and this navigation is going to be an unordered list .list group, and it's gonna contain list items .list group items. Okay, so this first one, I'll just create new post. Okay, and obviously we want to wrap this in 8 tags, but let's just see how this works. So right there we have create new post as our first navigation item. So let's just wrap that in 8 tags so that it's going to point to this page right here. So I'm just gonna remove this, and I'm just gonna put in an 8 tag right there. Now paste that in, and this is gonna go to the /post/create route that we created for creating a new post. And if I refresh, okay, so if I click this, it takes me to this page. But I can also go to the home page, and it takes me here. Okay, so obviously this is not looking good because of the format that we use to create a home page. Okay, let me take you to that page, and this is our home.blade.php. You discover that we have another container right here before actually displaying this. So what we're gonna do, since we've already implemented a container in our layouts file, we'll just remove all of this right here. So all of these extra divs will go away, and if I refresh, that's back to normal. Okay, so looks like we need a link to actually go to our home page, so we'll create another one right here. So this is gonna be home, and this is not going to go to /post, it's going to go to /home. So if I refresh, now we have a second one, and that's a mistake. Obviously this is supposed to be in its own list group, so I'll create it for him. So I'll say list, and the class is list group item, and if I refresh, that looks better. Okay, so we have a home, it takes us to the home page where we have welcome, we have a create new post, and it takes us to the page where we can create new posts. So the purpose of doing this is for you to see how we can actually manipulate our layout files to suit the way we want our application to be formatted. Okay, so let's go to the next step. How do we create a new post? Okay, let's head over to our admin post create.blade.php where we are going to be creating our form. Okay, so I want this to be in a panel. So I'll say panel.panel default. And this is going to be a panel heading right here. And this heading is going to say create a new post. Okay, so after that, obviously we have a panel body. And in this panel body is where we're going to have our form. So let's generate that form right there. And this form is going to go to the /post/store route. Okay, so that's where we're going to be storing it. And we'll define the method. And obviously this method is going to be post. And in here, remember, every form that we are submitting data to Laravel with, we have to generate a field. So, and this field is the CSRF field, so that Laravel will be able to cross-check and make sure that the data coming into the application is actually coming from the application. Okay, so no scams or whatsoever. So it will generate a token which will be submitted with our form. Okay, so now that the form is set up, let's go ahead and see how it looks in the browser. If I refresh, so we have create new post, and our form is there, but obviously we don't have any fields yet. So let's go to our create post migration. So create post table, Okay, so our create post table, first of all, is asking for a title, it's asking for a content, and it needs the ID of the category that this post belongs to, and it needs a string, which is a link to the featured image. Okay, so it looks like in our form we need a field for uploading an image, we need a field for the title, we need a field for the content, and also we need to be able to select what category this post belongs to. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a div.form group, and this form group is going to be for the title in this case. So I'll say label for title, and I'll say title, and right here I'll just have an input.form control, and the type is going to be text, and the name is going to be title. Remember, the name field is very important, and the next field we're going to have is going to be for the featured image. So I'll just say featured image right here. So featured image, so we'll have featured for featured, and here it's not longer gonna be a text, it's gonna be a file because we're gonna be uploading an image. And right here the name is going to be featured. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is make sure that these names actually match the way they are in my database table, just for uniformity and our work remains organized. Okay, so looks like the next field we need is going to be a text field where the user can actually enter the content of the post. So right here we're going to just say content, and this is not going to be for featured, it's going to be for content. And this is not going to be an input field, it's going to be a text area because this is obviously going to be a lot. So text.form control, and the name is going to be content, and the ID we can set it as content, and also the columns we're just going to put 5 and 5. Okay, so let's save that, go to our database, go to our browser and refresh. Okay, so we have the title, we have for the image, and we also have for the content. So next we need is also a submit button. So let's go ahead and create that. So in a div.form group, I'll just go ahead and make sure that's centralized by putting in a div.text center, and right here I'll just have a button, button success, and this is going to be type equals submit, so that it can submit our form in our browsers. And right here I'm just gonna say store post. So I've saved that, and if I refresh, there we have it centralized. So store post is gonna submit our form, and of course right now if we submit the form, it's gonna give us not found HTTP exception because this route does not exist yet. So let's create that route. So we'll go to web.php, and remember that route is actually where our form is submitting to. So let's create that route. So we'll go to our web.php. So right in our routes directory, web.php is where we're going to create the route. So let's create it. So right here, we're going to have a post, and we're going to have a store right here. So it goes to /post/store right there. And what controller method is it going to use? It's going to use the store method. Remember, if we go to our post controller, right down to the bottom, you discover that store a newly created resource in storage uses the store method, and it already injects the request right there. Okay, so we're gonna use the store, and you can use whatever method you want, but it's just good to use a RESTful defined way. Okay, so right here we're not gonna call it post.create, we're just gonna call it post.store, even though we might not actually use the names, but let's just make it good practice to always name our routes. So that's it, we are submitting to that route. So let's go to our post.store and define what happens as soon as we receive that. So I'll say die dump the request that you receive, but just get an array of everything in it and show me. Okay, so I'll refresh this page, and then I'll submit the form, and you discover it's dumping it, and we have the title, we have the featured, we have the content, but all are blank right now. Okay, so